Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today on the website of French auction portal Share, we're going to have a look at another auction by Vichy Auctions based in France. So this is an auction house that has quite a few auctions a year. This is the third auction that we're looking at. This one is finishing on the 5th of October. There were two others that I did videos for. One is finishing on the 3rd of October and another one on the 4th of October. It's actually the 2nd today, so you've got a couple of days left to have a look at this catalogue. I was thinking before that this is all stuff which is kind of progressively getting better, but I've realised that actually this whole set of auctions is roughly lower tier stuff, although there are some interesting bits in here and there, so don't expect anything too amazing. That will probably be a bit later in the year, but anyway, buyer's premium on this auction is 24%, so that's what you pay on top of the final hammer price. There are 400 lots, so quite a lot of stuff, so we'll just kind of blitz through as best as we can. Hopefully there's some interesting things, who knows. Just a reminder that this is a French auction, so if you're looking to buy something from outside of France, import, export fees, CITES restrictions, all of that fun. And then finally, just to say, if you do enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing, like or comment, because it really does help. Once again, this particular auction finishing on October the 5th. And yeah, let's just crack on and see if there's anything interesting to look at. Right, starting off, we got some JTL stuff, so we're clearly just going to ignore most of that, although there is a 19th century one here, so let's have a quick look. Oh, actually quite a nice back on this. It's not bad. 19th century 357. That's kind of okay. I don't know what level of images we've got there. Interesting scroll. That's actually not too bad. €200 estimate. Let's have a look at this 20th century violin, probably German, Jan Basta label. Looks interesting enough. Kind of crackle there on the varnish. €300. Needs a bit of restoration there. Not the worst and not the greatest either. See what else we've got here. More miracle stuff. If it's generic miracle stuff, we're just going to ignore it. More miracle things. Lot of two violins, 3/4, something else. I think nothing too crazy here so far. Let's have a look. French 18th century cello case from the Medar school. I think by case they mean just the actual body without a neck. Interesting looking cello. Shame it's missing the neck there. €1,000 to start. Interesting. Miracle violin. Let's have a look at this one. €30 to start. 363 length back. That's kind of interesting. It's got this massive crack on the back. I quite like that actually. I think that's not too bad. Quite a nice looking instrument. Obviously needs a lot of work and kind of repair, but interesting one. More 20th century miracle stuff, 1900s miracle. We're just going to ignore that. More miracle stuff. Yeah, all of this. Let's have a look at this lot of 3 violins. So we're not going to look at everything. It looks like your pretty generic-y kind of trade stuff there, probably French stuff. 19th century miracle violin. Different restorations and break on table. Definitely needs a lot of work. €200. Has some charm though. I do quite like some of these earlier miracle violins. Are actually not bad. We've got a viola here. €200. 404. Pretty standard stuff. What else we got here? JTL. This is interesting. 20th century violin. €150 to start. 358. That is a pretty odd model. That's pretty strange. Whoa, that's that is a crazy looking violin. Wow, look at that scroll. I've seen that kind of scroll before on a few of these like German trade violins, so I presume it's something like that. But yeah, that's pretty wacky looking. That's quite cool, for probably good for the thumbnail. More miracle stuff. Violin by Lebert. 2 violins, 3/4 miracle. 19th century. That's pretty bad crack. Shame actually. Nice back, nice colour. I do quite like that orangey French varnish as opposed to the heavy red one. Half-size Mircore. Okay, better instrument here. Viola by Lucien Schmidt, Grenoble, 1964, 410 length of back. That's pretty good. Interesting kind of F holes here. 3,000 to 4,000 euro. Looks in pretty good condition there. Needs a bit of work. Comes with a certificate there. Yeah, it's an interesting viola, that. Few bows here. Look at this interesting lot of bows. That's a curious looking bass bow there. Interesting lot. See if there are any other curious bows that we can look at here. Let's see. I definitely recommend, if you're interested in this auction, to have a look at it at your own leisure. German violin bow, nickel silver. Quite a nice bow, doesn't look too bad. Okay, some more bows, we'll ignore those for now. A lot of 2 violins, let's have a look at that. Pretty low level stuff there. Some of the quality is pretty shocking. They're just churning it out basically. 20th century Mircore stuff. Yeah, 20th century violin with a Bergonzi label. Let's have a look at this. Once again, not too exciting. Little 4 violins. This is interesting. 19th century German violin. 357. It's that kind of hop type shape. Very dodgy looking F holes. That has a bit of charm though, maybe for like a instrument set up as Baroque or something like that. A cheap Baroque instrument perhaps. Let's see what else we got here. 19th century violin with a Viome label. Looks like it needs a bit of work there. 200 euros. More Mircore stuff. Lots of multiple lots of violins. German violin from the beginning of the 20th century. Okay, interesting bird's eye on that. It's actually nice enough violin. 500 euros, seems in okay condition. More Mircore stuff here. Let's have a look at this Mircore violin. Magini model, they say. The double purfling and this extra scroll turn. 355 is actually a reasonable size length of back. 19th century Mircore violin. That's actually okay as well. 200 euros, not too bad. Let's have a look at this. A lot of violin tops and backs. It's quite an interesting back there. 10 euros on that. I think that's a fairly curious looking collection of bits. Grand Gerard violin. Mircore, end of the 18th century. It's got some charm, that actually. 600 euros. I quite like that. I was at first going to say not too keen. It is pretty big though. 363. That's quite large. A few more bows here. Violin bow by Louis Bazar. Signed Kurtil. 150 euros on that. Looks okay. See if there's anything else curious about. Let's have a look at this bow here. Harmand violin bow stick, exotic wood. Fairly good condition. Yeah, interesting. What else do we have? Some more bows here. JTL bow there. Violin bow by Louis Bazar. And it's sapwood. Okay, so curious. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Okay, more Mircore violins. Let's see. Let's have a look at this Clodo violin. Mircore 1800. 150 euros. That's unfortunate about this really shocking repair at the top. That's really nasty. Also at this horrible angle. If they'd at least done it kind of parallel, it would have been a lot better, but that is unfortunate. There's lots of violins around like that with some horrible repairs. Interesting, another 18th century cello without a neck. That's interesting. €20 on this one, not so high an estimate as the other. Looks in a pretty bad state. More Sea of Miracle stuff. Let's have a look at this 19th century Miracle violin. Once again, looks like the varnish has been fiddled about with a bit. German violins, 19th century violin with a Strioni, or is it meant to say Storioni label. 355. Slightly bizarre looking instrument that. Let's see what else we got here. Lots more JTL, some kind of German stuff. Nothing super exciting. This is a bit more interesting. German violin made around 1800. Restorations and traces of worm. Yeah, not completely sold on that one. Load more bows. See if there's anything interesting coming up. Let's have a look at this bow. Violin bow by L. Morizot Frère in beeswax. I think that's possibly not a good translation there. More bows. Excellent. Let's see. A Lebert viola bow made of bee wood, Abiel. €80 on that. Not too exciting, I don't think. Large late 19th century violin, decorated back 368. Wow, that's huge. Yeah, that's a fairly nasty looking instrument, or miracle stuff. German violin, beginning of the 20th century. Let's have a look at this. The Steiner label. €300 on that. Right, probably German 19th century violin. Nothing too exciting there. See more miracle stuff. German violin. Lebert. French violin from the 19th century. Let's have a look at that. Nicolas Duchesne. Okay, miracle. Set of 4 heads, 3 of which are old. Okay. Yeah, that's quite a nice head, that first one. Second one as well, it's fairly nice. Violin by Didier Nicolas, miracle, around 1800. That's in a bit of a sorry state. €200 on that. Wow, 366, that's pretty big. More miracle stuff, 19th century violin. 4-string double bass in fir. Okay, not super exciting. 20th century violin, modern violin. Violin made in the Apparoute and Hilaire workshop, 1975, number 820, 357. That's had a very unfortunate break. It looks like the sound post has almost gone all the way through. That is really unfortunate. Saying that's actually really quite a nice looking violin, to be fair. €350. I mean, I think a good restorer could repair that, but that is quite unfortunate. That's actually a very nice looking instrument. Really nice edgeworks, really tidy, nice varnish, nice back. That's is actually a nice instrument, so hopefully someone can bring that one back to life. Right, interesting, one of these 19th century miracle violins. Some of them are really just pretty bizarre. €200, pretty curious. Some German violin there. Violin of the Apparoute workshop, 20th century. Not so exciting as the other. Let's have a look if there's any more curious bows around. Let's see. You might hear a bit of thunder in the background. It's the weather is starting to go a bit funny. 20th century German viola bow, nickel silver. Okay, interesting. Or you might hear a bit of rain as well. Let's see what else we got here. More French kind of violins, unvarnished violin. See, German violin, 20th century. This is all looking fairly standard. Let's have a look at this one. Violin from the end of the 19th century with a Breton label. Once again, nothing too crazy on that one. More kind of standard stuff. A lot of 2 cello heads, including an old one. Yeah, kind of both interesting. €100. There are definitely people that collect those. Well, what's this? Unvarnished maple double bass neck. The Lion. Interesting. Someone was giving it a go. 20th century violin. Breaks on the table. Nothing too exciting there. It's definitely a good bit of thunder going on now. Small viola by Etienne Perrin, made in Mirecourt around 1820-30. 379. That is pretty small. Quite like the eye. It's quite a large scroll eye there. Damaged corner. Interesting. Right, some more bows. Let's have a look at this one. 20th century German bow. Signed Dienz. That looks actually quite a nice bow. See what else we've got here. Nothing super jumping out of me at this auction so far, I must be honest. Let's have a look at this bow. German bow. Signed W.H. Hammig. Silver mounted. Needs a bit of TLC, I think. Some more bows. More kind of Mirecourt stuff here. Let's see if there's anything good. Well, German violin, 20th century, €500. Looks pretty standard, kind of, say, late 19th century, I guess, early 20th century. Bits of a 3/4 violin there. See what else. We're on to some bows again. This is fairly interesting. Violin bow from the Bazaar School in Ironwood. Okay, €150 on that. On to page 7 now. A couple of these older bows. Violin bow from the Picat School. Exotic wood. You do see quite a lot of these about. I quite like them. It's quite a nice head. Quite a wide head. That's an interesting one. A few other bits here. A load of frogs. Got quite a lot of bows here. Let's have a look at this violin bow by L. Morison Frère around 1950. Okay. Half-size Mirecourt violin there. Some more Mirecourt stuff. Wow, we're getting some good, definitely some good lightning strikes going on. I think it's getting fairly close, so that's interesting. As we look at more Mirecourt stuff. I mean, some of these Mirecourt violins are probably actually really nice. It's just I find them a little bit kind of repetitive. So this one, it's in good-ish condition, but not a very exciting instrument, unfortunately. So even though a lot of these German violins, which are also kind of just fairly generic, are a bit nicer. €500 on this. Quite nice wood that they've done on that. Shame about some of the dodgy antiquing, but interesting kind of instrument. Let's see what else we've got here. Back of a double bass. Okay, part missing. Yeah, quite interesting. €30 on that. Violin of the German school with a iron mark of Galliano. Looks like your standard, whatever, late 19th century, early 20th century. Let's have a look at this 20th century Mirecourt violin with a Montagnana label. Pretty simple looking thing. Interesting way the varnish is worn off there. Let's see what else we've got here. Got a Mirecourt cello, 20th century. €1,000, the estimate there. Looks a fairly plain kind of thing. Let's have a look at this bow, German violin bow, nickel silver. €80 on that. Let's see if we've got any other bits. We're on to page 8 now. Let's see what else. Let's have a look at this. Lebert cello stick made of abil, GHL, frog and button. 50 years. I think that could be an okay bow actually. That's kind of curious. We're into some more instruments here. More miracle stuff. 19th century German. We're not seeing anything too crazy, sadly. Let's have a look at this 20th century German violin. Some funky varnish on that. Let's see what else here. This is a bit of a wreck here. This one, let's have a look at this Thuvenel miracle, early 19th century. Needs a fair bit of restoration, €300. Quite like it though. Quite like the F-hole cuts and the placement. This is an interesting one. That's good lightning. Miracle violin, early 18th century. Damaged table. Loose buttons. Trace of worm. Wow, I think that's in a real trouble. I mean, €80. It seems a bit even optimistic, to be honest. That's in a real state. 20th century violins, 20th century German. It's nothing too super exciting there. Another one of these. Actually, let's have a look at this one. Violin bow made in the style of Usher, circa 1910. Interesting. €200 on that. We're on to the final page now, so wonder if there's anything interesting here. Let's see. A few bows and things. Let's have a look at these two. 3/4 violin bow by Prosper Colas. Interesting. Cello bow signed Louis Bazin in abil wood, mounted in nickel silver. It's interesting because it almost looks silver. I'm getting some heavy rain now. You'll probably definitely hear that. It's a bit mad. Let's have a look at this bow then. Violin from the Usher school in amaret wood as the last one. And that's it. So yeah, this is the last Vichy auction out of 3. Sadly, actually, I think the second auction was more interesting than this one. I thought this one might be the better auction of the set, but nothing super exciting, sadly. This one was pretty interesting, and then there was that kind of other French violin which had the damage to it, which was quite interesting. Yeah, I'll put a link in the description as always. Check it out, see what you think. Maybe you might find something. If you notice something that I didn't, please let me know. And thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.